All right, guys. We were 1 minute late. My camera wouldn't sync up. Pain in the ass. Letting some people come up. All right, guys. Good thing started here. Gun lunch. Today's lunch is sponsored by Bull and Bear. It's a what do you call it? Blackened chicken, Southwest something salad. I don't know what the heck you call it, but it's not bad. So do we have people on? I'm not getting my normal feed. We're seeing much happening here. So if you're tuning in, let me know. Let me know. Hey, Kevin, what's going on, man? So today's show got some interesting things. I talked about a little incident we had out at the ranch that was kind of crazy. We've got Alec Baldwin in the news. I want to talk a little bit about that and shed a little more insight. Probably the media really doesn't. They're not doing much on it, but we actually have done work for the prop houses that supply the firearms to the movies. Have a little more insight into some of that. Talk about SIG and pulling out a SHOT Show is pretty significant for NSSF. Thor Defense Group, which is that's Nisik's company. They do long-range precision rifles. They pulled out a shot. Talk a little bit about that. I've got Steven, our tech guru, the Viking, the warrior on it. We'll have him on around 1:30, as well as some business insights and of course industry call out, where we get to I don't know, call people out for the BS that I see in things. Hey, Alex, what's going on? It is Happy Friday, that's for damn sure. So, open to show up today. We had an accident out at the farm, out at the ranch, last Friday that really kind of had me thinking that it's important to enjoy the day because you never know what day is going to be your last. I was working with Jim, who's a gentleman who's been working the property for 40 years. He's a little older than me. When we bought the land, I'd met him. He was packing up tree houses or his tree stands, and he'd been hunting and working that land for 40 years since he was around 20. And I talked to him for a little bit, and I said, you know, Jim, I want you to continue hunting. I want you to continue working this land. Do it with me. Teach me what you know, because it was new to me. We didn't know the land. He was very excited. I mean, he thought he was done with this property. It's 500 acres. It's rolling hills. We've got ponds, streams. It's pretty spectacular piece of land. So we were out. I've got some redneck blinds. We've got 2 of them built. We positioned a 3rd one, and it was getting later in the day, so we were clearing some brush, just kind of talking around one of the blinds. And I've got a hickory tree. I mean, we're in the woods. Big hickory tree. It's got that boar which is killing all the ash tree, and it had that whatever that boar is that's killing ash trees. And we're talking. All of a sudden, we hear this low crack, and boom! A big branch comes off the tree, hits the ground, goes quickly, hits him in the head and the shoulder, and drops him like Mike Tyson would. He goes down hard. And then I'm standing right next to him. I get down with him. He's bleeding pretty badly out of his head. He may have been unconscious for a second or two. I'm not sure. But so I got pressure on the head to stop the bleeding and started asking him questions. And he didn't have a concussion. It didn't appear. But he said, my neck feels really weird, and I've got tingling in my left hand. I said, all right. So he wasn't in a good position, but I didn't want to move him. He said, let me try sitting up. I said, are you sure? So he tries. He goes, no, that's not going to work. I had a flannel shirt on, which I took off and wrapped it around his neck carefully and had him just hold it, and which he did. I got on my phone I knew that EMTs would not be able to find us. I called a local farmer that I know who farms part of the land. He knew. I explained. He knew where we were. Then I called EMTs and got them in. Got them inbound. Took about 40 minutes to get there. Probably maybe a little longer to get to us. Got Jim loaded up on a stretcher onto a UTV, a vehicle. Got him down, ambulance to the hospital. I didn't think injuries were that serious. He seemed to be doing pretty well. The bleeding stopped on his head. It was a pretty good cut, and he tore part of his ear. But he got to the hospital, and then the next day he was in surgery for almost 8 hours. And he had broken 2 vertebrae in his neck, and his spinal cord had twisted. The vertebrae broke and turned. And he walked out yesterday. And he's got a recovery, but it's not a spinal cord recovery. It's just the surgery and all this stuff associated with having plates and bones screwed together. The doctors were shocked that he was able to walk out of the hospital. So it's it just makes you think. My wife was immediately, "You're not going up in those woods anymore." I'm saying, "Well, actually, I am." And it was a freak thing, but freak things happen. And you don't always know why, when, or how, but don't waste a day. That's going to be the theme of the day today. Don't waste a day. But he's going to be in 2 to 3 weeks of hardcore not doing anything, but they anticipate full recovery, and we will have him. He'll be back on the land here in the spring. I think this season for him is probably done. We'll see if I can get a big buck for him to fill his freezer up. Because we've got on camera right now, I've got a big 10-point. We've got at least 1 6, and we counted 11 4-points. Now this year we're not taking anything. We're going to go for the 10. I'm not sure the 6 is. We may go 8-point or bigger. Just it's a big enough piece of land that the deer stay there, and I think if we let them go, we'll have a steady supply of pretty big bucks. So anyhow, craziness, absolute craziness. Look at people jumping in. We've other stuff in the news. Alec Baldwin. Okay, I saw that news article, and yeah, it's crazy. So he shoots the videographer. Now, I'm not a big Alec Baldwin fan. He's a solid actor. I just don't have any respect for Hollywood people who feel they need to explain or talk about their political views. Quite frankly, I don't care. I really don't spend any money on movies anymore. I don't support the industry because I don't care about their politics. Not whether they're Republican or conservative or Democrat. I really don't care. You make movies. Make your damn little movies. We really don't care about your opinions. You just make movies for a living. Not that big of a deal. But I did want to, I read the articles, and the media, of course, is, they're trying to explain, they don't know. And we do work, I think it's ISS is the prop house in Los Angeles. They supply all the firearms and weapons for movies. They're probably the largest in the country. On the East Coast, you've got the Specialist. They're out of New York City. Big vaults full of all sorts of crazy guns. We built the armories for the Specialist, and we've quoted several projects for ISS, doing some work out there, just building their armories. So we have worked with those guys. When they're supplying firearms to a movie, they supply firearms, staffing, training. They do the whole package. And how did this happen? Well, this is my opinion based on just my experience working with some of these people and stuff. Cinematographer was shot. So the prop house, their people are responsible for issuing or handing the firearms to the actors. They're also responsible for making sure they're safe, and they're making sure that things are conducted in a safe manner to a certain extent that you can. There's sometimes things are dangerous shooting a movie. I can't imagine there was a live round in the gun. I don't think they would even have one within the scope of what they're doing as a prop house. It's got blanks in it, but was there something else in the barrel? It's possible. Blank can be a significant charge. I saw some posts online about people, never point a gun at people, never. It says, you're right. When you're shooting a movie, and quite often you'll have these scenes where, the camera's there and there's the guy, they're showing him shooting. It's just off angle and he's firing his gun. Well, think about where the cinematographer stands in that shot. But quite often there's the camera guys behind the camera. Cinematographer is off to one side or the other. They're looking at the framing, making sure the shot is what they want. Well, he goes and makes that shot. So he's probably shooting right at her. And he's not even thinking about it because they're shooting a movie. So this notion that you never point a gun at somebody is absolutely true in the gun community. In Hollywood, I think it happens all the time. But I think they bring in these experts and they bring in these prop guns so that this doesn't happen. Now, ISS supplies guns to a lot of movies. They have thousands of real guns. Most of them are. Some of the old stuff, and if they're doing a big, massive scene, they'll have a lot of rubber guns, but they have a lot of real ones, and they fire a lot of blanks to make it real. Now, is it possible that they put a hot load blank in this thing, or is there a way of done that? I'm not a blank expert, to get the gun to recoil properly, because a real light blank, pop, pop, it's not going to do much. If they want the gun to feel like it's really moving, did the guy put a charge in it of some sort to get this gun to really hit? I'm sure it was an old Western. There's probably some big old Colt. So when you read all this stuff and people talking about it, just in Hollywood, guns get pointed at people, but they bring in people to manage this in a way that people aren't supposed to get hurt. So I'm not sure how it's going to shake out, but I'm thinking that the prop house is probably, they made a mistake. That's probably what happened. But anyhow, we're looking at triple check. Yeah, you know what? It's you do, but Baldwin, again, I'm not a Baldwin fan by any means. His job is, when they say action, to act. He may not be a gun guy in any way. He has to trust the people that hand him fire, hand him the equipment he's using, have gone through the safety protocols. The cinematographer, she happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, and that's what happened. So we'll see. We'll see what shakes out of this. I know they're doing an investigation, and it'll just see what happens. But I find it just strangely bizarre things like this happen. And again, it ties into this notion that you never know when your last day is. So make them count. Let's not don't sit around and watch TV too much. Get out there and do stuff. So industry news right now. It's interesting. SIG announced pulling out of SHOT Show. That's a significant announcement. And SIG this year would have had the largest booth at the show. They spend on their booth in excess of $1 million. They're one of they have people who sit on the board of NSSF. That's who put on the SHOT Show. And the SHOT Show is a fundraiser for that group, which National Shooting Sports, they are responsible for assisting FFLs, gun owners, the whole gun industry, with legislation, with promotion, with education. Not so much how to shoot a gun, but marketing, selling, the firearms industry, the retail selling side of it. This is their big show. Now, SIG cited COVID concerns, and they do a lot of shows. And if we used to do a lot of shows, when you're on your feet for 5 days, interacting with all these people, at the end of trade shows, half the staff comes back with flus, with colds, because it grinds you down. So the risk of COVID working these booths probably is real. The bigger issue for them was investment. The SHOT Show people, they get the floor plan laid out, and they had made some changes to the floor plan. Things were a little dynamic. It's getting late in the day because it takes a long time to design and build these booths, to get them shipped there and get them ready for the show. And SIG was looking at a reconfiguration because there was a change. I don't know what caused it, but there was a change in how the booths were. And SIG was actually getting a little bit bigger space, but a little different format. And their investment to make the changes and build the booth would have been in excess of $1 million. There was a one of the gentlemen was on John Bartolo's show last week talking about it. And if you've never listened to John Bartolo's show, it's a podcast. It's worth a listen to. It's a really good show on the industry. But they cited those costs. And when you look at that cost, they staffed their booth with 130 people for 5 days in Vegas. The show is stupid expensive. Hotels, by the time they're into this thing, they're well into seven figures, multiple. I mean, they're in the millions of dollars to do the show. Our last show, we did a 20 by 40 booth, which is decent size where we were, nowhere near what these guys are doing. It was a good sized booth, and we staffed it with 8 or 9 people. I think we spent $160,000 to be at the show. And at the end of the day, I'm not sure we got anything out of it other than it was cool to be at the show. So that was our last show. That was 2 years ago. And for us, we're not going back. That show is really designed for industry people to sell to the buyers and the buying groups and the big retailers. And that's just not how we roll. We are direct to consumer. We feel it's far more efficient, and it gives the customer, the shopper, a much better shopping experience and dealing directly with us. So it's interesting now, Thor Group, which is Thor, was it Global Defense? That's Larry Nisik's company. He's a firearms guru, kind of a firearms savant, maybe you'll call him. But Thor's a good-sized company, and they do pretty good work. They announced that they're pulling out of SHOT, and their press release was very different. It just said, COVID has nothing to do with this. SHOT Show is the most difficult show we do, and they just listed all the challenges associated with doing SHOT, and they basically said SHOT Show sucks. We're not dealing with the logistics, we're not dealing with the pain in the ass, and we're not dealing with the security risk of losing some of our firearms. So they said we're just not going. And I get it what they're saying. That show is difficult, and it's a shame. It shouldn't be, but it's very difficult to do. If Remington, if one of the other big players pulls out, you could see a cascading effect, and the show could implode very, very quickly. It's a delicate thing keeping a show like this, at times like this, keeping them going. So we'll see what happens. At this point, I'm gonna be at the show, and we don't have a booth. I've got meetings scheduled, and then on the military side, we mix with 4 other companies, and we rent a penthouse, like big penthouse suite at the top of the plaza where the show is, and we've got military product there. And what we do is host cocktail parties every evening for military. After the show, they come up, and we've got, we'll have 30, 40 people in there. There's 5 companies, and we've got their undivided attention to sit, talk, relax, have a glass of scotch if that's what you drink or whatever, and talk a little business. So we'll be there in that capacity, and I'll be walking the floor, just meeting people I know. I've got several meetings scheduled, and I like to go around and look at what's new, what's not. I know what won't be new, and that would be the gun safe industry. They'll all be there with new this year, blue paint. New this year, we've taken the 9 on our lock and angled it 3 degrees. It's just, there is nothing new in the safe industry. Every year, there's been anything new in the safe industry for 50 years. But if you know me, you know that that's a recurring theme with me. But we're going to change that. So I got something for you guys to comment on. Get your opinions on. We've been approached by the Outdoor Network to do a show. To do a TV show next year, and a half-hour show, and something that we're seriously considering. The theme of the show would probably be something along the lines of driving change in the firearms industry, or something on innovation. I like driving change. And we're not sure the format, we don't know anything about it, but it'd be us, we'd be bringing in companies like SIG and Daniel Defense, probably, and other whoever we can get that's part of the movement of trying to change this industry and modernize it and bring it forward, and do a show on it. So see what you guys think on that. It's a big commitment for us to do it. I like the idea. I don't know enough yet about it, but we are doing research on it, and we'll keep you guys posted as to what's what. Do you ever go to the safe industry booths and poke fun of them? Yes. No, we don't. I do. I walk the floor, and I know a lot of these guys. So we'll say hi, we'll talk, and we'll talk. Hey guys, how's it going? Great, boom, boom. And I walk. I'm sure they're going, that guy's an asshole. It cuts their safe in half. I don't know. We had years ago. It was Winchester safe, which has nothing to do with Winchester rifles. Winchester safe knocked off Cradle Grid with a really cheap metal bent copy of it. And they had it at SHOT Show. And I walked up to it, I looked at it, and I grabbed one of the brackets, and it just bent in my hands. I'm going, and the guy looks at me, and he didn't know who I was. I said, this stuff's kind of cheap. And he was kind of pissy and straightened it out. And after the show, we ordered one of the safes. It was $2,000 safe. And we did a video. There's a video out there on our review of the safe. And there were broken welds. I've been to China a lot. I've seen a lot of the safe manufacturers. I know what they cost. I'm going to say that safe cost them in China probably $275 to $300. Shipping, containers, expensive. Probably landed cost $550, maybe not that much, between $475, $550. They were selling it for $19.99 as a tactical safe. And at the end of my video, I took a circular saw with a plywood blade. I cut the whole thing in half. It was a piece of crap. And what's interesting is Winchester shut down their entire facility. They're still doing safe, but they built a U.S. manufacturing facility, pretty state of the art. Fired it up, and then very shortly after that closed it. You just can't survive making really cheap product, doweling it up. They had like a little roof rack on top, doweling it up with bells and whistles, and then charging a lot for it. It's you just can't do that. I mean, I'm not a big fan of any of the safe manufacturers just because they just haven't modernized, and what they're making just doesn't work. But there's guys like Bruce Pendleton. I'll give him credit. He at least takes a different approach, and he offers no fire rating because he and I've talked. He said, "Tom, it's all bullshit." I said, "I know it's bullshit," but he does make an interesting safe. It's far too heavy for me to consider, but the bulk of them out there, they're regurgitating the same design they've been doing since 1966. It's just crazy. All right. Yeah, that's right. Willie just joined us talking about the big giveaway. If you don't know, it'll be in the notes, a link to it. We've teamed up with Paramount Tactical and Stag Arms, and we are giving away, I think in 2 weeks, we're running out of time. It's an all expense paid trip to Paramount Tactical for their Tactical Carbine 1 and 2 course, which I've taken with my boys. Fantastic course. A lot of fun, and you'll learn a lot. I don't care how good of a shooter you are, you're going to learn a lot. That includes a Stag AR-15 rifle. SecureIt is supplying a Agile Model 52 Pro cabinet, and then SecureIt is paying for the travel expenses. So it's be a really cool weekend getaway. So if you haven't signed up for it, there'll be a link posted at the bottom of this in the notes. Seth, our guru of tech, will make sure that happens because I don't do that because I'll just screw it up probably. Actually, I'll have typos. I'll do it right, but I'll just be full of typos. So, yeah, he's saying we'll be posting in chat. What do we got for comments? Hey, guys, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, I mean any questions, any topic, the purpose of going live is safe industry is an industry of people, of CEOs and ivory towers, there's a real strong barrier between customers and the actual people that run these companies. If you go to a trade show and you look at they'll have sales reps up, but you can't get to the decision makers in these companies. And they really kind of hide. I don't know if they hide, but they're not public. If they were, what you'd find is most of them don't own firearms. They're not in the firearms industry. They had to be part of a company that is, but that's not what they do. With SecureIt, we are, for the most part, hunters, sport shooters, former military. We're all, I mean, not every person that works here is into firearms, because we hire people based on who they are and what we believe they can do, not on any kind of hiring guide. It's really interesting, just on a quick tangent. I was talking about diversity at a business conference, and somebody was talking about it, and I'm just saying, this is bullshit. And what? Diversity. And they all looked at me. I said, look, we hire the best person for the job, hands down. We interview a lot of people. We've got a very, very structured process by which we determine who we hire. We are in the firearms industry, a predominantly male industry. Yet our company is mostly women. We're 55%, 60% women in this company. Not because we're trying to hire women, not because we're trying to hire anybody. We just look at the position, we look at the talent available, we hire the person who best fits for skills, capability to learn, cultural fit, and that's how things go. So that's who we are. But gun safe industry is, and firearms in general, there's a big impenetrable wall between you guys, shoppers, customers, and decision makers. We're trying to change that, part of the change we want. So if anybody has questions about us, about the industry, about Second Amendment, anything, there isn't anything that we won't talk about, because we're just regular guys like everybody else who happen to run a company. Will I be able to retrofit my Answer 12? Are you assuming with locking, new lock, or lighting? The answer is yes. I believe so. Now we also are reintroducing our retrofit kits, which is the very first product we ever designed when we were purely a defense contractor for the retail market, was a kit to convert traditional gun safes to our system. We still carry them. They're listed in our accessories, but it's not something we focused on. And we're going to reintroduce that whole product line as a real featured product. Because the idea is, you're buying an Agile, you're buying a fast box. What do you do with your old safe? Well, you can convert it to our system. It's pretty affordable, and they do work really well. We tried several months ago when we first were doing the live show. We tried to do a live show of installing a retrofit kit, and I did it live. I wanted to say, guys, look, I haven't installed one of these things in years, and I'm going to do it live so you guys will see how easy it is, or hard it is, or pitfalls, or what happens. And we went through it. I had the camera set up. I had the safe, a Liberty safe in here, and the minute I touched the guns and started putting guns into it, they flagged me, because YouTube Live will not allow you to touch a firearm. I think they're afraid of somebody live recording, shooting somebody or shooting something. I don't know, but we learned a lesson. So I will be shooting a video. We're going to record it as one take live video. We can't do it live. We'll be publishing that on the website later this year as we get to relaunch that whole product line. Okay, David, Stephen Walrath is a great example of your quality of people. Now that could be taken humorously or seriously. Steve will be on here very shortly, actually, with Tech Corner. But Steve is a good guy. He's a retired vet, and he is the longest tenured employee in the company now. And so in the SecureIt Survivor game, he's able to stay on top. No, we don't have a high turnover rate, so not a big deal. Any plans for interactive wall safe builder for your website? There is. We're working with an outside firm right now to develop a website. Our website right now we use Shopify, which is one of the big platforms for e-com sites. We're using WooCommerce. We used to use Shopify. There's Woo, there's Shopify. There's a handful of platforms for companies that do e-com, built-in shopping cart, all the stuff. So it works very well. We're at a point though now, because there are limits there. We're now working with an outside company to custom build, scratch built website for us, our way. Everything is designed custom for us. It's very expensive. It's going to take some time. We're targeting February of next year for launch. There's a lot of work to do, but I would love to have the ability to put up your wall, drag in the panels, and design a system. Are we going to have it available? I don't know. It's something that we are talking about right now. Hey, what's going on?
You never sent me the link, so I figured just.
Yeah, I did. You should have it.
Oh, you told me to. I'd be on about 1:30.
Yeah. Oh, there's a link right there. I sent it to I sent it to you, didn't I? Oh. Oh, I never pasted it in. All right, guys. I screwed up. That's what I do best. So, hey, Steven came into the studio, and we've got him right here.
So I did see somebody asking about the answer, if we could retrofit them. And you can actually retrofit the locks on the Answer 12. One thing that we did, and it was kind of, I won't say a mistake, but we did it for more aesthetics, is the keypad on the Answer 8 is right in the center of the door, but it doesn't line up with the lock, so it's a little trickier to retrofit it. But the Answer 12, you can easily retrofit it with a bunch of different styles of locks if you wanted to change it out to something with a backup dial or anything like that.
So any industry, any of the other just brands of round locks will fit that safe?
Yeah, as long as it's got the swing bolt, which is kind of like the little quarter circle.
That's a, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I hope that answers the question. Now, we are working on a whole new locking system for the safes. We want to incorporate, we're looking at Wi-Fi technology, the ability so that you can, if you're not home and you get your wife or somebody at the house, you can grant access to your safe remotely. You also, if somebody touches the keypad, you'll know. If the safe gets moved, you'll know. So there's some technology that we're bringing into the safes. And we've got a couple of new products. Handgun storage we've talked about is coming, as well as a lightning quick AR or shotgun hidden solution that's on paper right now only, but it should be something we have to market. I'd like to see it mid next year. Ron, our head of product development right now, is saying, "God damn it," because I'm pushing him. But Ron will have the handgun storage solution done in a couple of weeks. Now it'll be launched. We should have prototypes in January, and we'll probably do some sort of a pre-launch for people who are part of SecureIt, a pre-launch offer. We're trying to gauge interest. Our plan is to have inventory in May. Is that? I think it's in May, June 1st or May.
Yeah, I've been helping with the lighting. I saw a lighting question that is on track. I've been helping Ron with that. It was something that I was working on excuse me, before we got Ron. I did see a question on the pistol peg. Somebody was asking if there was a shorter length. You really don't need it because on the tip of the cover that's on the pistol peg, just the way they make those covers, it's actually a little bit thicker. So if that peg goes all the way in and it's hitting the face of your bolt, then it's really not going to cause any issues. Just your pistol is going to stick out away from it a little bit, which I think when we had my conceal and carry pistol in here doing it, I think that one was actually, the barrel was shorter than the pistol peg, but there was no problems with it.
Got it. Hey, we got a message from V8. Okay, all right. So Lotus guy, regarding Model 84s, do me a favor. Send a note to what's the contact on the website? Just a Help Scout contact?
Oh, support at SecureTactical.com.
Just send an email to support and just send a Model 84 Gun Lunch Live, a note in there. They're going to forward it to me. I've got something for you that might help if you're looking to do what you're looking to do. So I've got we've got our Marine Corps contract going right now. We don't have a big promo going on those, but if you're looking to do more, I think we can make some sort of a deal happen. So anyhow, lighting again. See, lighting. I think Mr. Berto has been with us before on lighting. Lighting is coming fast. I'm not sure if the prototypes are here, but we're going to have this very quickly. And
well, admittedly, two of the prototypes
yeah.
are in my house. I have lighting, just we don't yet.
Yeah.
So, and one of the prototypes we have out in the warehouse lit up in Agile. Actually, we have two. One in the Agile 12 Answer 12, and one in the Answer 8.
Justin, we've got a quick access for concealed solution for 3 guns, rifle, shotgun, pistol. The Fastbox does vertical. You can do 2 rifles and 2 pistols laying on its side. You can put 2 rifles. If it's on its side, you can do a shotgun and an AR. Access to the gun in the back is a little slower. But on its side, you've got room for I use a Mossberg 500 or a AR-15 at my home. Usually it's the AR-15, but you've got room to lay a couple of handguns in there as well as additional magazines. So the Fastbox may solve your problem. And then the fast access handgun solution that we're developing will probably have a rifle version of it out either later in the year or the following year. We're not releasing a lot on this solution, not yet. We're not ready to, but it's a radical, it's a big departure from what's out there now. And it gives you a lot more capability than what's out there now.
Yeah, you guys are keeping that on wraps. I don't even know anything about it yet.
Yes, you do, don't you?
No, you guys haven't shown me.
Yeah. We don't tell Steve anything. We tell him just enough, or else he ends up with a sword or something. So any battling coming up?
I went to one this past weekend, and I discovered one of the reasons I get beat up so bad. I thought it was just because I'm new and I'm really terrible at it. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, I kind of have a hobby of sword and shield fighting and armor. And the guy training me is really good, and seeing him combat against other people, because usually it's just a few of us that have been training together, he's really good against experienced fighters. So that explains why I always leave with so many bruises and never really land that many hits.
So he's a trainer of trainers?
Yeah, he's good.
That's do you guys ever videotape these?
Yeah, there's.
All right. So we want, guys, should we request a video of a little battle at some point? We certainly could punch that into the feed. I think it'd be fairly entertaining if you got video of it. I'd love to watch it.
It's gonna be me saying owl a lot.
That's okay. You see me at home sometimes. It's about the same thing. And then we'll be back out at the ranch. We've got some trees to take down, one more blind to put up. We're building 3 of those redneck blinds. In fact, I just pushed a video out on my personal channel about building a redneck blind. We'll probably move that over to the SecureIt channel. It's a longer video. And then I'm going to be launching a personal YouTube channel with a bunch of stuff, projects that I'm working on that's part of the company, but also outside of the company for crazy things going on. Is there anything else we need to know about tech support this week?
Mainly good batteries. Back to the answer line, they will actually not lock until it has a good battery in it. So I've gotten a few calls from customers saying, hey, I have this brand new answer. I can't get it to lock. What's wrong? And it's always one of 2 things. It's either a cheap battery or an old battery, or somebody's put something up against the door, and when you go to close the handle, the lock rod's hitting it, so you can't close the handle all the way. So it's one of those 2 issues, and once those are cleared up, works flawlessly. So we got the SecureRAM locks on there. One thing, actually, I don't even know if I've let you know, those, they have like a bunch of different keypads. So customers, if they wanted to upgrade to other stuff, those keypads are upgraded. We currently don't sell them. We're debating on it or not, but they have, I think they have biometric. They have some of that internet stuff that I'm still learning about, but they have all sorts of like little features.
You can jump online and upgrade the lock. I mean,
the lock itself is good, just the keypad.
Oh, the keypad can be upgraded. Okay.
There's a little adjustment you'll have to do to the back of the lock to reset it to a different operating system for that keypad, but it's really quick and easy to do.
Yeah, it's everything we do is modular. It's, the goal is always to put the customer in charge. Cradle Grid was designed to put the soldier in charge, the armor in charge, so he could design the armory to fit his needs. And it carries through. I didn't know the locks were that flexible. That's actually very cool.
Actually, going back to the military, that's how you found me. So,
that's right.
Did my arms room.
That's right. In fact, we shot photos, early military photos of our products. You're in the photos, and you're loading a portable gun cabinet onto a truck. That's right.
And my soldier Beagle, who is last time I talk to him every once in a while. He's down in Florida. He is a bounty hunter and repo man in Florida. He is a comical guy with lots of guns. Great guy. So when he comes up here, we usually get together and hang out a little bit. I brought him in here and showed him this place, and he was in love.
Now there's might be an interesting guest to have on a live show, bounty hunter and repo. I always thought being a repo man. I don't want to be a bounty hunter. Being a repo man would be fun. Stealing cars for a living.
Yeah, that's the part I think he dislikes.
Really?
He likes the bounty part. He does not like the repo part.
I think the repo part would be
I think the repo part is more dangerous for him.
I don't know. I just think there's something that'd be fun about. I don't know. It sounds appealing, but anyhow, thank you very much for coming on.
Have a good day and have a good weekend, everyone.
All right, guys. That was Stephen the Viking, guru of tech support. Looking at all the comments coming in. Good stuff. Yeah, Berta, you have been with every gun lunch. I appreciate it too. And as soon as I got lights available, man, I will send you a note. You'll be the first person. If we can pull this off, you'll be the first person to get lights. So I'm just going to my notes here. A couple of things I wanted to hit on. Industry call out. Let's talk a little about industry call out this week. And it's this isn't specific to the gun industry, but I see it a lot. I see it in gun safes a lot. And we talked about it. I was talking to someone today. When you're looking for a product, say gun safe or a cordless drill or a tool, and you Google best gun safe, you Google best impact driver, best cordless tool, drill, best shovel, best whatever it is, you come up with all these websites. There's 5 best. We done the review. Here's the 7 best whatevers. You go to the site, and you're going to see the listing, and they'll put them in an order. But if you see the products and then the link, it says check current price, all those links typically go to Amazon. Those review sites are 100% crap. And all they're doing is they're trying to get SEO to be the first one for the 5 best whatevers. They make money as a referral fee. When you click check the price, you go over and you're going to buy it on Amazon, they make a referral fee. Any review site that immediately has links to buy those products, they're not review sites. They're simply, and they'll jostle around what products they put where, not because they're better, but they're trying to figure out what order, what style will get the most people to click, because they make their money on the clicks. Whew, man, it's crazy. So if you're searching for something, you want to search for the best. Be careful using those words. If the site you're going to has right next to each product, like ranked number 1, number 2, check price or buy on Amazon, they are 100% crap. They really are. I would recommend look at Consumer Reports. They don't do firearms. They don't do a lot of things, but it's not that. I don't do a lot of shopping on Amazon if I can avoid it. What Amazon has done is amazing. I just find that they're searching on Amazon now there's so many companies paying to have their products jammed in front of you. The search no longer gets me what I want typically. But I find if I'm looking at something on Amazon, I go into the reviews and immediately go to the 3-star review, because that's the one where somebody liked it enough, but there were some issues, and those reviews usually will paint a picture of what's what. Those 5-star reviews are just, oh, it's great. The 1-star reviews are, oh, I hate it, right, broken. But the 3s usually have, I really like these features. Where I felt it was a challenge was these issues, and I'll read those and say, well, those issues won't affect me. Or, well, this guy makes a good point. Or, and I find I get the best information. And on other sites with reviews, it's always those mid-pack reviews that will give you the best information. So any other questions we got coming in? We're moving through the show pretty quickly. The time flies when you're live on YouTube. I'll tell you that. It always amazes me how fast this hour goes by. So no bullshit business insight. This is or no bullshit business advice. Today, we live in a world still, and it's going to continue, of remote meetings, a lot of Zoom calls, a lot of companies that have discovered Zoom and Skype, and they may be going back to work. There's a lot less travel. A lot more people are living in this world. What I would encourage everybody to do, if you're in Zoom meetings, if you're hosting them, require all cameras to be on. Flat out, they have to have their, if you're going to get people, if you're going to a meeting in person, everybody's there and everybody's engaged and everybody's focused, because you can tell if they're not. If I'm going to sit into a meeting, if I'm going to be part of a meeting, I don't want people looking at their phones. I don't want people wasting time, because the minute a meeting is a waste of time, I leave. The meetings here at SecureIt are very structured. We have a very specific agenda. You have to have meetings around a company, but if people who work for companies that have horrible meetings came in and sat in some of ours, they're like, holy crap, because we just jam through the agenda in a very specific order, designed for efficiency, and get stuff done. But once you go to a Zoom, I want those cameras on. And if you're going to be on Zoom calls, you're going to be on Zoom cameras, go to YouTube, search how to look good on a Zoom call, and invest in a decent camera. They're not expensive. Invest in some basic lighting so that it's not expensive, but take a little time. If you're working in an office, most people get up in the morning and look in the mirror and they shave, they put some makeup on, whatever, and they get dressed and they make sure they look good and they go into work because they want to look good. If you're going to be on a Zoom call, take the same time, make yourself look good. You'll be received better. You'll be more effective in getting your opinions expressed and getting things across. So that's today's business insight: is cameras on for everybody, and take a little time to do it. I'll tell you what, where's my gizmo here? Yeah, this was really inexpensive, but I can adjust my lighting. I got two little lights here, and we turn off the overheads, and I run just track lighting for the gun wall, but I've got the ability to adjust it. And so before each show, I sit down and kind of play with the lighting just to make sure it's reasonably good. And, it's in my head, doesn't shine like a damn cue ball, which there was a time when I had hair down past my waist. For those who don't know, I used to be a professional guitar player. There are some photographs floating around the internet or floating around the world that are semi-humorous. But hey, guys, we're getting down to the end of the show here. So any last questions or topics or anything that you want to talk about, by all means, type it in. Let's give you guys a few more minutes. And let's just say, love your products. Thank you very much. We love our customers. Guys, the people that buy our products, you guys are what we call the early adopter buyers or innovative buyers. Shopping for new tech. And we are new in gun safes, we are the new tech. The market's broken down into innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, laggards. And that's based on market share as to where a company transitions. Early adopters are the people who like to do research. They appreciate new and innovative products. They're the ones that will spend the most time to know what's out there, what's new. They're the people that the innovators, the ones that will get to Apple and be the first to get the iPhone. And then you guys are the ones that they'll do that research. You're also the ones that bring in the early majority. It's in the marketing world, early adopter buyers are often called lighthouse buyers or beacon buyers, because these are the people that get the product. They've got a greater tolerance for risk, and they'll try something new. But they're also the ones that talk about it and share it. And that's how the main market hears about new products. Our biggest source of marketing is word of mouth. It's people talking about our products. Now we've done a lot of research on this. As innovative and early adopter buyers, what does that mean? Who are you guys? Well, I'll tell you. It means you're in your social groups, you are more affluent, more educated, willing to take more risk. You're more adventurous. Sounds like my kind of people. So just by buying our products now, when we're still a new product in the market, that puts you into that category, and you take that risk because it is. We're a new product. If people don't know who we are and they see this stuff, ultralight, lightweight gun safes, huh? It only holds 8 guns. Well, it actually holds 8 guns. That's what an innovative buyer and early adopter buyer is. So share the love and keep talking about the brand, because we're trying to, our goal is to change the way America thinks about firearm storage. We don't need to be the biggest, we don't need to be the boldest, but we want liberty. We want these safe companies to stop doing what they're doing and start making products that actually work. We're not there yet, but we are getting closer. So what do we got? Promoting whenever possible. Thank you very much. We're trying to come up with tools to make it easier for people to spread the love. We're going to have some clothing lines coming out here. I'm not sure what the time frame is on that. Again, for me, I'm always like, guys, just print it up, get it done. I want to see it in a week. But it does take longer. So that is coming. Yeah, I wish I was affluent, but I stole my money on a cool safe to put guns in it. Well, yeah, I know the feeling. There's always somebody else, isn't there? It's doesn't matter what you buy in life or how cool you think it is. There's always somebody that gets something bigger, but it's not how much you have, it's how much you have left. Anyhow, any last questions? I've got super happy to meet. He bought the quad, another 52, 42. I've got quads in my house. That's what I use. And I've got a gun wall. I've got a home studio. In fact, I'm building a home office right now. So the next Gun Lunch Live will quite possibly be live from my home office. If everything comes in, my wife asked me why I never work from home. Well, I actually like coming here. I think it's kind of cool. But I thought about it because winter's coming, and I live in an area where we can get 200 inches of snow in a winter. We get a lot of snow. I drive a big truck, but still. And I realized I don't work from my house because I don't have a home office. I've got a studio where I do some music recording. I've got a chair over here, but at the end of the day, I don't have a comfortable place to set up shop and actually do work. So I'm taking the time to invest in a basic desk, some monitors, and going to actually build a home office. Hopefully, I'll do live from there in the next 2 weeks. Do you hope to expand into sporting goods someday, replace traditional safes? I don't know. I think the retail space is becoming very difficult for a lot of companies. And I'll tell you, we were in Academy. Bass Pro carried our stuff early on. These retailers want to make between 40 and 55% margin. That means that whatever I sell it to them for, they double the price. That's the retail price, or they're not going to carry it. So it's a huge premium to be in these stores. And when we had our Agiles in Shields or Academy, one of the challenges we ran into is the gun safe industry designs safes to look good empty. And that's I in a podcast I talked about that. They actually told me that, the production manager. They designed the interior of that safe and they set it all up so when you open the door, it looks appealing and you want to buy it. That's how they're purchased, empty. They look like crap. If you try to put 40 guns into a 40 gun safe, it's going to look like you're never going to get there. You never get close. But the guns are packed. It's just a mess. Our cabinet is not designed to look good empty. It's designed to hold a number of guns that we claim that will hold, and we'll hold them very efficiently, very effectively, with optics attached, with lots of accessories, total modularity, all the stuff we do. But our cabinets don't look good empty because they're not designed to. And we ran into a problem, and people who didn't know the brand in a store when they opened, they didn't understand what they were looking at. So at this point, we have no plans of going into retail, in the retail stores. I think the retail world is still in decline. I think they're facing some very difficult challenges. There's going to be a re-landscaping of the retail world. the days of malls, the days of these big shopping type places, I think are over. And the successful people will be the ones that have a more experience-driven boutique, like gun shops that really do talk to you and ask questions and answer questions and really help people with their purchase decisions. We've got a bike shop here in Syracuse that's doing very well at a time when a lot of bike shops aren't, but because there you walk in there and it's such a family feel to it. They've got a little restaurant. I mean, it's a cool place. You can go get a beer and sit and talk about bikes. They do a really neat job. But those types of stores are the ones that the customer feels like they're part of something. Will continue, but as of now, SecureIt will not be going into retail. The handgun storage solution has possibilities. We're going to launch it and kind of see how it plays out. If it is self-sufficient, if you can look at the package and understand it and it works, that may end up being in retail. We'll move slowly that direction though, because there's a lot of pitfalls of being in retail. Patty, I talked about Alec Baldwin. I do believe it was an accident, and I'll tell you why. We do work with the prop house. I can repeat that real quick. We're just wrapping up the show now. We are at the last couple of minutes here. We do work with ISS. We do work with the specialists. They're the two largest prop houses in America, and they put guns into movies. They put staff that manages the guns in the movies. The actors come on set. Typically, a representative from the prop house will be there, will hand them a firearm, which they have prepared for the shot. And something happened. I'm sure there's no live ammunition on that set. ISS, the prop rental houses, there's no live ammunition. But my guess is they're trying to create a hot load for a blank, so the gun has natural recoil to it. And something was in the barrel. So there was a mistake made, and there's a projectile in the barrel. As far as pointing the gun, cameras. Let's say that this camera is shooting a movie. The cameraman is behind the camera. The cinematographer is standing off to the side, checking the framing of the shot. They want a shot where you're shooting, you're focused off in the distance, shooting. There's the shot. Well, what are you pointing? You're pointing at the cinematographer. I can see how it happened. It'll be interesting to see how this shakes out, but somebody at the prop house made a mistake, is my opinion, based on what I know of that part of the industry. So guys, we are wrapping up now. Gun Lunch Live happens every other Friday. It's my way and our way of just being as close to our community as we can. Again, we're in an industry that a lot of the execs shield themselves. I mean, I can't even name who's the head of Colt, who's the head of, there's a ton of firearms industry that I didn't know who the presidents are. It's crazy. So we're trying to be a company, we are a grassroots kind of company. We're not an ivory tower company. We don't ask if you've ever been to college on our college applications. I don't care. I'm not a college graduate. I'm just a musician that had a crazy idea and just pursued it. But we are a regular company of regular people. So we want to always maintain ourselves at an even level with all of our customers and not ever be at this, we're up here and the people are down there kind of a thing that I see in some companies. So Gun Lunch Live is part of that. We're also, I'm looking at doing some other YouTube work. We're going to be shooting a lot more video in the next coming months and in the next year. On our YouTube channel, and then we're still hiring a lot of people in various positions. Right now, we are looking for marketing people, a videographer. We're looking for all sorts of people. But anyhow, any last words from anybody? I'm going to wrap things up here. I've got my wife's picking me up. We're going to go to the airport and fly down to Savannah. My daughter's going to college down there. Going to spend the weekend with her, then come back up. And as soon as I get back up, I'm going to get my first days out with the bow hunting. The rut will be in a couple of weeks, and I got one 10-point on camera. So the goal would be to fill the freezer up with a bow. If not, rifle season follows up, and I'm anticipating a really good hunting season this year. I'm hoping. Last year I got completely skunked. I had time sitting in a stand as the sun comes up and the forest wakes up is always quality time. But I was amazed with as many deer as we have that it wasn't in the cards. But that's the nature of hunting. Anyhow, guys, you guys all be safe, have fun, spread the love, spread the word about SecureIt, and I'll be back with you guys in 2 weeks.